Well, my first name's Jim. My numbers is 161. I came up with that number when I was 16. I started talking skip. I said 16, 161. That's about how I came up with that. Just that was my age when I started talking skip at 16. Before that, I went by Turtleneck and Sandman when I was young, probably about 10 to about 14. And numbers, not too many people question that. Well, I got into CB when I was about 8, 9 years old. My dad had an antenna on his car, and I heard some people talking. And then prior to that, I watched that movie Convoy. So I did Breaker 19 about a radio check, and they came back to me, and I was like, wow, this is pretty cool. And started messing with people, and as I got older, I got a Midland, Uniden 510 XL from Radio Shack, and I had a Wilson 500 on my gutter at my house with a power supply, and people couldn't hear me too well, but I started messing with people, cursing, and it was kind of cool. Then I kept hearing guys out and skip, and once I started talking long distance, that's when I really got into it, and then I needed an amplifier. Then I met Howard 4 1/4 when I was about 11, 12 years old, and didn't know much about it. He kept talking about it, and that's how I got into it, basically. Well, amplifiers was when I'm trying to talk skip and other people was keen on me, and I'm wondering how the hell am I going to get out and get over these people? And then my friend told me you need watts, kind of like a stereo in it, amplify my voice. So I got a 1-pill, 12290, and I hooked that up to a little motorcycle battery, and I thought it was the best thing in the world. Everybody, oh, you sound great, you're strong. I thought I was the big man. And after that, it went from that to a 5-pill, 2-car batteries with a car charger in my bedroom, with an Antron 99 about 30 foot off the top of the roof. Bled the whole neighborhood, tore up answering machines, pissed a lot of people off, and it kind of got a little crazy after that. I was living at my parents', hooked up an amplifier. That's how I met my first girlfriend, bleeding through her speakers, which now I have 2 kids with. And neighbors didn't like it very much. Well, the neighbors knocked on the door and said, could you keep it quiet? Around 5, 6 o'clock, we're watching TV or whatever. So after that, I kind of kept it after midnight. I talk, and from like midnight till morning. Sometimes before school, I talk skip and wait for the bus to show up. And my neighbors were always all right with me because, small neighborhood. And some of them I talked to years ago, they said they liked listening to my conversations. But, I'd start drinking and give out my address, and got a little out of hand. Howard would tell me what to say to people on the phone, and well, it started out, they all would call me a mud duck because I was so young and I was weak. And then I got the Antron up in the air with the 5-pill, and some of the older guys didn't like that I was getting over them. I was cutting out their local time because I'd be in between them, and I was the youngest out there. These guys are 30, 40, 50 years old, and I just got in the radio, really, and they really didn't like that very much. And then, I had Howard give me information about these people, and he knew I didn't know, and it kind of escalated from there. Well, if anybody knows Howard, where his grandma lived down off Winslow Road, my cousin Howard lived off Winslow Road in New Jersey. And my cousin lived right around the corner in the neighborhood. We used to hear a guy come through the phone a lot. And now I was into riding dirt bikes and stuff. Howard had a 3-wheeler. So eventually we started helping him clear out trails, and he started telling us about the radios. We noticed the antenna up in his tree, it's Segmo 4. And he kind of told us, well, you need an amplifier if you want to be the big man. And that's why nobody's hearing you. And kind of tried to explain how skip worked, which we didn't understand. We would hear these people, but they wouldn't hear us. So, Howard taught me a lot about radio. And from the beginning, I've been running Dave Made because that's what Howard did, and I never went elsewhere. Howard told me he'd known Dave for about 20 years, and Dave's an electronic genius when it comes to RF, 27 megahertz. He said, you ever want to spend your money, come through me, and we'll get you what you need. And he let me listen to the Super Bowl, and I'm hearing these big guys out there yelling Dave made, and he showed me some stuff, and we're actually listening to that song Bumps It Down by Sir Mix-a-Lot. He always had that playing, and he kind of started telling me what relay and a vacuum cap was and a line section, and electronics interested me. It was interesting, and started showing me how amplifiers work. I was young, I really didn't pay much attention because he was always drinking and stuff, and that's right about the time I got him to build me my one pill in his grandma's basement, and the thing worked. It bled a lot of stuff, and then I went up to the 5 pill. But pretty much Howard told me Dave boxes is like a Cadillac basically, or like a Ferrari. You don't want to go buy a pony or a Texas Star. You want to get a Dave made. And I liked the way they looked. They were gold, clean, and I liked how it drawed my car battery down real fast. Well, really in Skip, a lot of it was, because, I get my name called a couple people, but it seemed like when I got more watts, on key, everybody's calling, A161, A161. I was like, damn, I must be the big man. And then I realized that I'm keying on these guys that have been in the radio for a long time, and they're yelling, Fat Boy or whatever, and I'm keying on them. And they didn't like that very much. And then it all got real bad when I went to the flat side. Going from the ground plane to the flat side was like night and day, and I run half the watts. Well, back then I wasn't old enough to work. I was like 13 years old about this time, and I cut grass, washed boats, washed cars, did whatever, you know what I mean? Howard, my friend, hooked me up with a deal. I think I paid like $80 for it. It took me a while to save up for that, and I got allowance. I think a one Christmas present was a Galaxy DX59V or something that my mom got me. And after that, I had the Antron up on the roof, and it was crazy looking in development. But once I got the Galaxy, the 5 pill, and the 2 batteries, I wasn't on channel 6 as much, 11, 26, and all the other channels in between, but when it came to local talking, I was up there with these guys that been in the radio for a long time. I met Spontaneous, Tom Tom, Pepsi, this girl Doodles, Violator. I never met Bigfoot. I used to argue with him a lot, and that kind of made me want to get more watts from guys who would cut me off. I met T-Bone right down the road. We used to go over. I used to hang out with these people, and it kind of got me, Skip was my thing. That's still my thing. Local talking when it's dead and I'm bored, maybe, but other than that, Skip is my favorite. Out here in New Jersey, Dave made country, right in the heart of it. I've known Howard for years and years and years, and never really met Dave too much because Howard, he didn't want me dealing right with Dave, and I wasn't buying real big stuff. I was young, I didn't have much money, but I was yelling Dave made, I was representing, and I pissed a lot of people off, whatever. But I think it wasn't up till about 6-7 years ago when I met Dave, and I knew nothing about none of this stuff, which working with it, and I started doing a few things for Dave, and he's a good guy, and I've been with him ever since, and it just, the Dave made team, it's a small circle, because you got a lot of people that want to copy stuff and bring it to other people trying to make their pockets bigger, and in the end, we still overall we rule South Jersey. I call it Dave made state, New Jersey. They got, Fat Boy County, Outlaw, whatever it is, but overall on Channel 6 when Skip rolls, there's only a few people that get their name called, and they're all running Dave Mates pretty much. I wouldn't call myself a tech. I learned it all from Dave himself and a few other team players, Concrete Man, 211. They helped me with some stuff. It was basically, I want to make some side money. People want stuff, and I went from, all right, drill this out, put this here, put that there, and after doing the same thing over and over again, you start asking different questions. You get the right answers from Dave, and it took a lot of time. And now I kind of know how stuff works, and I can troubleshoot things, and the less I gotta bother Dave, the better. And if it's something I don't know, I go to him, and it's kind of works that way. It wasn't an overnight thing. It took a while. My favorite boxes would be anything from like a straight 4-pill up to whatever. When you gotta build the drivers, it takes longer, it's more parts and shit like that. But really, my favorite box would probably be an 8-pill, 16-pill. They're easy. It'd take me about 4 or 5 hours if I got all the stuff in front of me and I got a clear head and I'm not tired, and. And then the best is at the end when the thing's on the bench and it does the watts it's supposed to do plus some, and people are happy and it's running good. Another box out there, and rest in peace 279. He just passed away, but he has a few of my boxes. 595 got a few of my first boxes from a 1 to a 5-pill. And other than that, I ain't been building too many, I would say, are big players that are into it, that big, because, I didn't come around until 6 years ago, and that was right around the time Dave really ain't into this like that, like he was, This ain't the main bread and butter no more. So it's kind of like a hobby, and it's fun for us, and you make some money. Well, Howard was a good guy, and he would show me things, and he always told me, electronics, the way to go. The money's there, it's easy work, and you're always busy. Swinging a hammer, digging holes, shit like that, tear you down, and he always told me, you don't use your brain till you're 25. And I'm like, yeah, whatever, dude. But really, I'm 28 now, I'm saying about 25, 26, I started to realize, there's more to life than just partying and women and all this. Howard, if those who know him, he had a drinking problem. He wasn't on drugs, but he liked to drink, and that's what pretty much put him where he's at now, just getting drunk. And he did a lot of shady stuff when he was drunk, but when he was sober, he was a great person to deal with. I haven't really did much work with Howard side by side, but from what I hear, he was a fast builder, the shit would work nice, and but Howard, great guy. It's a shame he's dead. I've known Howard for probably 15 years plus now, and I know his daughters, I know his family, and he inspired me to get into radio, which I knew somebody that could build something in their basement. That made it, oh wow, this is pretty cool. He would show me some things, and the stuff worked, and he told me he was known on the air, and when he would talk to big boys like Little John, I thought was a real big guy back then. And he would key up, talk to him, on the barefoot radio when I'm sitting there yelling, hooping, hollering, nobody come back to me. And I wanted to know how he did that. And now, I'm not saying I'm real big, but people know me. Especially in the Dave Made camp, 2011. Well, in 2011 now, when I first got into radio, it seemed like there was a lot more locals and a lot more stuff going on, but I'm not sure. I'm thinking nowadays with cell phones and technology, and 99.9% of the kids that I talk to, that are younger than me or my age, CB to them is like truck drivers, Breaker 19, good buddy stuff. Not too many people get into it how we get into it. So I think it's going to stay alive, and there'll be kids, like my kids are into it. They like to talk on the radio. I think it's going to be a lot more high-tech, advanced stuff, like beams, you hit a dot or you talk, it goes where you got to go. And the amplifiers, they're just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. I think it's going to get to a point where it's just going to be, you can run this amount and that's it, and there ain't enough electric. You know what I mean? But I'm not sure. CB it's bigger than a lot of people think. And I tell people, it's real big. It's a lot of money in it, and people get crazy with it. I think CBers down south or more laid back parts of the world, it'll keep popping off with younger breeds. But out here in Jersey, I don't think there's going to be too many more young CBers that get into it, unless their dad or their mother was into it. You know what I mean? Which is a shame, but communications with cell phones these days and stuff, that's what's catching everybody's eye. Internet, CBs, like my friends all think I'm crazy driving around with this thing. But it's just, you know, it ain't gonna die. I know that, but it's gonna calm down and it's gonna be to the point to where if you ain't got digital audio and 20,000 watts and a big ass beam, you're pretty much on channel 19 giving directions. You're not gonna be a Super Bowl operator with a 5-pill no more. Well, when people come up to me and say, yo, what's that big ass antenna on your car? It looks like a remote control car. I tell them, well, I talk on a CB radio. And most of them say, I'm like, you know, truck drivers, oh yeah. I'm like, it's kind of like that, but I'm in it in kind of competition. I talk on channel 6 a lot, and I talk, you know, hundreds of miles away. I talk anywhere from here. The furthest I talked was London, England, probably last year, but they come up, they want to know what this is, and then, you know, I pop the trunk, I show them the amp, and I kind of explain to them, it's like audio. It's like, you know, you got a system that hits this many decibels, and this one's got a bigger one. That's kind of how we are. You know what I mean? It's like, you can chirp somebody on a two-way anywhere in the world, and be probably almost guaranteed to have a conversation. In this, you never know. And you got other people trying to get you, and it's CB is weird. It's like an addiction. It's like a drug addiction that not everybody gets hooked on, and you can be out of this for 20 years and one day wake up and throw your radio in, and next thing you know, be spending $15,000. It's sick like that. Being that I'm so young and I only been around Dave for 6-7 years or so, I missed out on a lot of crazy stuff that I heard. But nowadays, the economy the way it is, a lot of people they want cheap stuff or whatever, you know what I mean? That's why a lot of other technicians are in business right now. But I've seen people offer to drop a lot of money on a big amplifier, and Dave, if you know you're cool, he will hook you up, but it takes a while. Now some people don't want to wait, and then they go other places, and in the end they wind up coming back. But from what I've seen so far, and it's probably, hopefully this year, it's going to be a whole change in the Dave May camp, and a lot of talking going on that Dave's washed up. It's going to bite a lot of people in the ass, hopefully. I'm not going to say what's going on, but there's something going down, and it's going to be crazy. It's going to be some shit that a lot of people ain't seen. You know, we proved it on base stations. I'm sure a lot of people heard at 333. You could take a dumb fence guy and make him a Super Bowl operator with just a little bit of money. Well, a lot of money, but anybody can be an operator. It's, you know, the gift of gab. I mean, people think I'm a 6-foot tall black dude a lot of times on the radio, but I like talking to them guys. It's the white guys that start all the trouble, but I missed out on a lot of crazy stuff with Dave. He's getting older, calm down, legit, and this is kind of a hobby for him. But CB, the amplifiers, the DC stuff's really going to change when 2879s are obsolete. I'm not sure what people are going to do, but I think it's going to give Dave a whole new opening to build something completely different and new that nobody's ever done. And I think it's going to get him back to when he started again. Probably get him crazy. I remember Dave telling me he was messing with stuff years back. Somebody told him, well, this is a high fidelity ham radio and there's no way my CB could ever sound like that. And Dave said, yeah, whatever, but it wasn't a big market. But I think it all came about them guys on the West Coast saying, them boys over there in the northeast corner ain't up to date with our audio. And now what it is when you got a good receiver and you hear this monster come in there with bass, it sounds like an AM broadcast station. Now, nobody wants to sound like a Cobra 29 anymore. Why would you? You want to be the boss. So I think the high fidelity it's kind of like everything. Like, you know what I mean? Stuff gets upgraded, technology flies, and people anybody can go buy a Cobra 29 and have a peak clip and tune at some truck stop and be out there sounding all distorted, but not many can come out there with high fidelity digital audio. You know what I mean? It's kind of like it's saying, yeah, I'm the man, I got the money, and you're a big bass station. You're not even a bass, a CB, it's an AM transmitter. You know what I mean? You're a transmitting station. I think that's why a lot of that's people eventually they run out of things to buy. You know what I mean? You get a big hammer, a good antenna, what's next? There's not much, and you go bigger with coax and stuff, but I think the high fidelity, it's 2011, shit's getting more modern, and that's what people are looking for. They're looking for the brand new best stuff out there, and Dave's been messing with this stuff for years now, and he's a perfectionist. And you might be there one day, you come back the next day, it could be a total different layout, could be 1,000 less parts or 1,000 more, and does 100 different things. So when he's done with it, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be pleased and appreciative for waiting, and it'll be a real good product. It'll be like buying a Benz, you know what I mean? It ain't going to be just some hack P-clip tune swing kit, whatever. It's, you know what I mean? He's making it to where the average person can afford it, and if you're a big boy and you got the loot, you can get the high-powered ones, and, you know, it's all going down to you got a driver, big box. No more, you know, batteries hooked up, 12-volt this, and you got 220 outlet with 400 amp service, you probably can rule your state. Sidewinder, that thing sounds good. Hey, Sidewinder, I don't know what you're running over. What kind of radio is that, Sidewinder? Every time. Don't matter. Sidewinder, what kind of radio you running on? Oh, a Dave-made transmitter. Well, I want one of them. Hit me up in Pallet Talk. 30 IMs a day. Every time he keys up, somebody says, that sounds good. What the hell is that? You know what I mean? And a lot of people don't have the receiver. You need an ICOM or something, but the people who do spend money and got a good receiver, they can appreciate that audio. A lot of guys look up at Prime Minister as the big man, and that's kind of how this all went about. Somebody saying you can't do that, and Dave's saying, yeah, okay. But most of the time, what are you running? And that sounds good. Where can I get one? And there's never been nobody saying, oh, I don't like that. They all like it, especially in skip. And I can see why, because I heard Gates, and, you know, if you listen to the last Prime song, 211's on there, talking to golden numbers real quick, and you can hear that audio and that big beast come out of this northeast corner. All the guys out there that discriminate or hate on Dave and feel that he may be prejudiced in some way, it's all bullshit. Dave is not prejudiced. He's equal to everybody. You don't look down if you don't have a lot of money, and whether you're black, white, orange, purple, don't matter. And when we come out of New Jersey talking skip, it ain't always just what we're running. We got mostly woods out here, and it's just, you know, you stay with your technician, and when your technician's 10-8 like Dave, you'll probably be 10-8. If you jump from camp to camp and let everybody in your shit, you probably wind up on the tracks or the mini bowl or 28. You know what I mean? You're not going to be up there with the big boys. And I've seen it. I've seen people come up, and I've seen people go down. And the main thing is, don't put the man's business out there, and don't brag too much, because you never know who's listening, who's watching, and who's doing what. And now with this recession, you know, like I said, not everybody's got tons of money to spend. So, I mean, RF, I had a cop come up to me and DX Blanket. We were keying in the parking lot. And the cop said, you got kids and you're out here doing this? I said, well, it could be worse. Could be at the bar getting drunk, doing coke, and ready to drive home, beat my wife. And she looked at me like, yeah, you're right. So, I mean, CV keeps you out of trouble, can get you in trouble, and it definitely can mess up your relationship. Don't bring it in the house. Don't bring it home with you. Don't have the radio next to your bed when your wife's trying to sleep. Some guys do. Me, I kind of try to keep it in the mobile right now because I'm renting, and other than that, I think CB is a good hobby to get kids involved with electronics, to understand how communications work, because the handbands ain't always exciting to most people. To me, I can talk without curse. I don't curse much, but it's just, it's just how it is. I'll tell you the truth, I've never been to a Keydown yet. We were gonna make the last couple, but, the team we are, we run late on things. We like last minute stuff, and we just figured, But I think Keydowns came kind of from talking Skip, like, all right, well, I'm gonna beat you to here. Why not just have somebody a few miles down the road, and whoever's stronger is gonna make the gate and they win. It's kind of like drag racing. Whoever can get there first, really. And me, myself, I've keyed with a couple guys. I got this little Honda Accord, and I keyed with a Suburban. I won. I keyed with another car. I won, and I think Keydowns, it's just like drag racing. It's, I got the bigger, badder shit here. Let's put some money up. Let's key. And it's crazy now, and there's a lot of new rules, and supposedly we're cheating, but it ain't cheating. It's just, it's the technology. And I think Keydowns will get bigger, and it will stay. It's gonna accelerate CB, but I think it's gonna come down to all these like halfway technicians. A lot of them are gonna go out of business soon. And it's gonna be a few here and there, and that's just, it is what it is. But if you stick with one technician, you probably be all right. Most girls that I'm with, they don't like it. They rather listen to the music and instead of just. So, if we're going to Atlantic City, I'll talk for a little bit when I get up around Fat Boy County, and I'll let them listen to the music. Now, my ex, I put a 2-pill in her Bronco. She calls me one day. My truck's on fire. I said, and they said, the fire department said it's that little black box you had hooked up. Well, I ran the wires through the quarter panel, they rubbed, it caught on fire. I still have it in this car, still works. But CB, I think it's kind of like most guys, every guy has a hobby. You're either at the bar, you're working, the girls, they don't understand it, and they really don't like it, but if you don't bring it home or keep it 24/7 and bring people to your house, you're not, you'll be all right. Just don't bring it home. In my relationships, as long as I don't get too crazy with it, it don't affect it. But if I'm on the radio 24/7, it's definitely gonna affect the relationship. And if your wife gets adrift to how much money you're spending, it might affect it. I seen guys lose everything. I'm not gonna mention names, but I've seen guys come down to the camp, hook up with Dave, and next thing you know, it's like they live there. They're there every day till all hours of the night, and I'm thinking, where's your girlfriend? Oh, fuck her. All right. But, I've seen people go through divorces, get their kids every other weekend, not going to work, put up a lot of money to get in with somebody, and it's just, I think it's like a drug, dude. It's like crack, Some people get out of hand. It's RF. Well, there was the one case, guy claimed to get a deal on some parts, and it was cheap. We liked it, we did what we had to do, and then come to find out, after the guy lost his business because he wasn't working, wind up getting kicked out, divorced, all this stuff. Come to find out, he paid top dollar for them parts and came to us, sold them for half the money he paid for them just to get in with us, which I don't know why, which there comes back to CB is unpredictable and it's weird. And sometimes people get a little out of hand, which they don't realize. If you're a good guy and you don't bring your equipment to other technicians, Dave don't care. You talk to other people, whatever, but some people get a little out of hand with it, and they think if they can be a asset to Dave, they're gonna get in. Well, it don't always work that way. You could be a billionaire and You know what I mean? You could be a billionaire and that don't mean nothing. Because today this ain't his money. It's, you know, it's more of a hobby and respect and to keep his name alive, and which there's other places out there. Joe, he's basically keeping the name alive right now. Which I hear that guy, he ain't fun to deal with, you know, but what can you do? People are money hungry and it's getting worse. But I think if it's affecting your relationship with your woman and stuff, send them out to get their nails done and lay off for a while. Because in the end, CB will always be there. Your family won't. They will find somebody else that ain't into it. And it happens. Yeah, definitely be careful. You could lose everything you ever worked for to talk on the CB. And I've seen it. It gets a little out of hand. Well, for those of you that don't know me as 161, you may hear me out in a skit called Captain Wet Clam, working a red light bunker. That all came from messing with truck drivers and kind of stuck with Captain Wet Clam, because I guess the females like me, and that's about it. Once again, my name's Jim, 161, aka Captain Wet Clam. I'm part of the team Dave made, coming right out of New Jersey, and you hear me out in the Super Bowl, holler back. Just hope you ain't underneath my hammer.